everybody. Well, good morning. My name is Brian Hammond. I'm the chairman of the Lee County Board of County Commissioners, and this is our 8:30 a.m. update on Hurricane Idalia. I'm joined this morning by County Commissioner Ray Sandelli, the Lee County Superintendent of Public Schools, Dr. Christopher Bernier, Commissioner Kevin Ruane from District 1, our County Manager Dave Harner, and our Public Safety Director Ben Avis. This morning, before we get into Lee County updates, I just wanted to begin with gratitude that we have missed the worst of Hurricane Idalia, but also sending our thoughts and prayers to the folks in the Big Bend area for the devastating storm that they are experiencing right now. I don't believe there's anybody who understands what they're going through as well as our county does right now. And so our residents and our people here who work at the county send our thoughts and prayers to them, and we'll be there to support them in the aftermath of this storm. So let's talk about what's going on here in Lee County. Our conditions are starting to improve as the sun rises this morning. Obviously, you've seen on the news reports of standing water in the roadways. Because of the standing water that is mainly in the coastal areas, though, along our roadways, we ask people to please don't travel this morning if it's not necessary. We don't want people driving through standing water. It's going to create quite a mess out there. There are some isolated areas of flooding today, and one thing we do want to make you aware of is this afternoon, as the high tide comes in around 2 p.m., we do expect to see a similar level of flooding as we saw overnight at around 2 a.m. So just because the sun is shining and the day wears on doesn't mean that the tides won't rise. And so we expect that some of those roads that we are already seeing flooded will flood again around this afternoon. So again, just today's one more day to just kind of stay out of the standing water and stay away from those coastal areas that typically flood during events like this. We'll keep watching as the tide comes up. We are also still technically under a tropical storm warning too, so again, just use caution as you're out there today. I want to give you an update on what our county crews are doing right now. So obviously our Department of Transportation crews are extremely active right now, as well as our Solid Waste Department and our Utilities Department. Our Department of Transportation is out. They were out well before sunrise, examining the flooded roads in the coastal areas. The crews have been working on trying to identify the problems. Much of it is just because the water levels are up so high that it can't drain out. But they're looking for anything like palm fronds, sand, gravel, things that are obstructing the drainage and clearing those out as fast as they can to try and get the water to drain off. That's really the major focus right now from our Department of Transportation. The areas they're working in are Estero Boulevard on Fort Myers Beach, Hickory Boulevard in Bonita Springs, and various roads on Pine Island and Boca Grande as well. We're also keeping in touch with our city partners. So the cities have maintenance crews that do very similar work on their roads, and we're supporting them as much as we can and keeping in touch with them. For example, First Street in downtown Fort Myers is flooded, and we know that they've got some of those roads blocked off, and they're working to clear those drains and catch basins as quickly as possible. We're also working with the city of Sanibel on the Sanibel Captiva Road by Blind Pass. We want to thank the fire districts and the police out there who've helped us out with that situation. Our DOT crews are using their equipment in these coastal areas to keep the catch basins and ditches clear. Our bridges are also being assessed. We do believe that all the bridges are open at this time, even if there are certain lanes that are closed due to some standing water. The Sanibel Causeway is fine. The Florida Department of Transportation contractor has already inspected it and cleared it. Initial assessments on traffic signals are also good. We only know of one traffic signal at Veronica Shoemaker and Edison Avenue that's down right now. It was struck by lightning overnight during one of the squalls that came through. Some other county information, we have touched base with our utility partners today. We know that overnight at the peak, we saw roughly 4,600 customers without power in Lee County, but FPL and LCEC have already made restorations to a majority of those customers, and we expect the rest of them to come back online very soon. Crews are actively working in the areas such as Pine Island and other impacted communities to make those service restorations. We also announced yesterday that county offices would be closed today, and they are still closed today. Our solid waste curbside collection is continuing, so we're still picking up trash. If Lee County Solid Waste picks up your trash, it's going to get picked up today. And Lee Tran is going to resume its normal routes later today. None of that has changed. I'll give you an update on the safe havens that we opened up. So this morning, individuals and families have begun leaving the safe havens at the Estero Recreation Center and the North Fort Myers Recreation Center. Today, we're deploying our Human and Veteran Services teams out to those recreation centers to provide any services that any of those people may need. They also work with the homeless outreach team, too, in case any of those services are necessary as well. As of 8 a.m., I'll give you the count. We had 72 people in the safe havens. There were 24 in Estero and 48 in North Fort Myers. We also hosted 7 dogs and 1 cat. And at the peak, we had 101 residents in the safe havens. We heard from our staff who worked the safe havens that the people who were there were extremely grateful that they did have a place to go, and we were happy to offer that for them as well. You will recall that the safe havens, they were set up for people who maybe had Hurricane Ian damaged homes or lived in structures that they didn't feel secure to ride out this tropical storm in. Okay, so the people who are in the safe havens now, they can remain there at the Estero one until 1 p.m. today. That's when the Estero Recreation Center safe haven will close. And then the North Fort Myers safe haven will be open until 4 p.m. today. Again, that's because there was a little bit higher count there and some concerns around some flooding that may happen again around the high tide later this afternoon. We do want to call your attention to the United Way 211 line. So if you're waking up this morning and finding that you need extra assistance related to anything that happened overnight with the storm, dial 211 and the United Way is there to assist you. They'll connect you to any number of services, and we're here to help you out and support you if you woke up this morning and found some unexpected damage or flooding. So what's next? Our Emergency Operations Center continues to be staffed with county employees and local partners, and county crews will continue to be out on the roadways assessing the damage and working any of the problems that they come up with. We'll be continuing to provide regular community updates through our social media channels and through leegov.com/storm. That's our website that we set up specifically for this storm. And now I'd like to introduce our Superintendent of Lee County Public Schools, Dr. Christopher Bernier.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you again to this wonderful community for all the help and support you've provided us over the last 48 hours, specifically to this great county commission and this wonderful emergency operations center, providing us the access and the ability to plan alongside county government makes the recovery so much easier. I'm happy to tell you that this morning crews are already out assessing each and every one of our school buildings. We do plan to be operational tomorrow. Official announcement will come later this afternoon from our office. Please continue to monitor local media, check our website, but as to our parents and community members who are part of our phone call system, you will receive information, text messages, and other things. To our employees as well, thank you for your understanding over the last 48 hours why we needed to err on the side of safety for our students as well as our staff members. Excited about the return of school on Thursday and hope that all of us will come through this storm and continue to recover not only from this one but still recovering from Hurricane Ian. We should also think about our neighbors to the north, plan to reach out to those superintendents sometime tomorrow once the storm clears and see what they need, and then hope that our community and our schools will respond the way several school districts responded to our needs post-Ian. So thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Doctor. Well, thank you, Dr. Bernier, and that concludes our update for today. Are there any questions?
Just one, and that it may not be top of mind, but flooding that's going on. It's Fowler Street again under a lot of water, and my understanding is that that's a state problem rather than county or city. Are there any plans to fix that? Because it's a pretty difficult problem whenever you get heavy rain.
So the question was specifically about Fowler in Fort Myers that's underwater right now, and the question was about it's a state road, and is that something that the state is planning to resolve? Let me turn to our county manager who works with our Department of Transportation regularly to see if he can offer any information on that.
Thank you. Yes, it is a state road. I believe they do have plans. We don't have specific information today, but we can get that for you.
All right. Well, if there are no further questions, that concludes this update. We want to thank you very much for all that you've done to help get through this storm. We're here to support you, and we'll be back with further updates if they're necessary. Thanks.